We begin with that breaking news. A state of emergency in California as deadly fires explode across the state. President Trump ordering federal assistance to help with the disaster.
Overnight, those fires ousting hundreds of thousands of residents from their homes.
Report of 3 people trapped in a house.
People trapped in cars. There might be some injuries.
A line of fires in Southern California turning homes to cinders, racing across the landscape faster than firefighters can contain them. Residents like Rebecca Hackett desperate to outrun the flames, filming on Instagram as embers pelted her car.
Please, God, please let me out.
I was really scared earlier. I was in shock. I definitely thought I was going to die. I thought I'm not going to make it out, but I just kept driving because I didn't know what else to do.
Earlier, officials ordering residents to evacuate in advance of the fires.
Mandatory evacuation of this area.
So much chaos that Pepperdine University apparently given mixed messages, leaving 3,500 students in the fire zone.
Just went back to our room to get some blankets.
All of them are okay this morning, but the aftermath here is apocalyptic. The Woolsey and Hill fires have grown to 40,000 acres in Ventura and Los Angeles counties.
I'm fairly certain it's gone. We stayed long enough to see the flames almost encircle the house.
Chaos. Fire engines everywhere. The houses near me were burning. Embers were flowing all across my house.
Fires forcing evacuations of star-studded neighborhoods like Malibu and Calabasas, with many celebrities posting to their social media accounts with their status, like Caitlyn Jenner on Instagram Friday, posting to her 9 million followers after news that her Malibu home likely burned down in the fire.
Don't know if the house made it or not.
And President Trump criticizing containment of the fires, tweeting, "There is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California, except that forest management is so poor."
This morning, the death toll rising at the Camp Fire.
We now can confirm a total of 9 fatalities.
The blaze ripping through 90,000 acres of land, destroying more than 6,000 homes in just a few hours.
We're in a neighborhood surrounded by flames. You can see flames shooting out of the roof of this home, and then check out this tree right here. You have flames shooting hundreds of feet up into the air. This entire community is burned to the ground. Everything here is gone.
We're just hoping right now that our home's going to be okay. You know how sometimes there's a home that's okay. We're hoping that home is ours.
We're about 95% sure our house is gone.
This weekend, large parts of the community look like a bomb exploded, leaving only rubble and heartbreak behind.
It's devastated. We're grateful that we got people out as quickly as we did yesterday, but we have a lot to do to rebuild.
27,000 residents still under an evacuation order after many raced to safety, braving roads surrounded by hellish flames.
It was pure chaos when the fire swept through this area. You can see this car crash. Some drivers simply jumped out and ran for it. We have seen miles upon miles of charred cars.
Nearly 25,000 without power in Butte County up north, and close to 20,000 more powerless in Southern California. Parts of Paradise now look more like a wasteland. Cars incinerated, homes destroyed, and animals helplessly roaming the streets, including this dog burned and confused, a highway patrolman stopping to help.
Unfortunately, it is my sad duty to report that we now can confirm a total of 9 fatalities.
I could have mounted up and had everything I needed, but I didn't have time. This is hard stuff.
We lost our house, we lost our business. In a matter of seconds. Only thing we got is our credit cards and our bank cards. We had virtually nothing. No, we're starting over.
A lot of trees got caught on fire, and all my neighbors got hoses, and we hosed them down, and somehow we saved our houses. So I was just coming up here I just can't believe it. It really looks like a war zone.
It was crazy. People driving like maniacs to get out of here. And it's never been this bad.
It feels like the Garden of Eden just turned into gates of hell. On the news, they said that there was a house that they took all the motorcycles out, but the house made it. So I was just coming up the street to see my neighbors, and I didn't realize my house gone too.
Further south, 2 fires are posing a threat on the northern outskirts of Los Angeles, but no deaths have been reported there. Even so, the entire beachside community of Malibu now lies virtually empty. This is the scene this morning as the smoke blows over the coast. Malibu's 150,000 residents have joined another 100,000 elsewhere in seeking safety.
Right now, a massive wildfire ravaging Northern California. 27,000 residents have evacuated and thousands more left without any power. Meanwhile, near Los Angeles, crews are trying to contain two separate fires. The entire city of Malibu was ordered to evacuate earlier this morning.
NBC's Gotti Schwartz is live in Westlake Village, California. Gotti, what's going on where you are? We can see the smoke now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of smoke coming. Actually, in fact, there's a fire truck coming in right here because this hilltop right now is about to be overtaken by flames. You can see them coming up, and it's coming up on this side too. I'm going to just take you over here. We're going to kind of fall back a little bit. But there's a ridge line over here where quickly the flames came all the way up and they started cresting over. So this is kind of one of our fallback positions. I'm going to give you a shot of what we're looking at, and then we're probably going to head down the mountain. Fires move so quickly uphill. They take a little bit longer going downhill, but now we're seeing plumes of smoke on almost every side. It's coming this way. You can see all that smoke coming this way. So this is a ridge top full of homes. These firefighters are going right now. They're not really here to do structure protection. They're here to make sure that people are all out of their homes. So that's what we're seeing up and down this street. We heard some people going through with loudspeakers, emergency personnel telling everybody to get out as quickly as possible. And I'm going to show you why right here. So over here, there's a house that's up on the ridge. Yep. And you've got flames that are now overtaking the ridge, and they're coming back down this side. So it's headed towards our direction. We've got our vehicles staged over here. We're actually going to fall back right now because those flames are coming this way. These winds are relentless. This is just one of those places of many places in Southern California where over 70,000 to 100,000 people are now under evacuation. Guys, I'm going to send it back to you.
Gotti, I know you've done this before, but obviously this looks perilous. So whatever you have to do, whether you're on TV with us or not, don't get yourself in between flames that are coming up. You make an interesting point. Fires go uphill very quickly because wind rises, the wind goes with it. Downhill is different because the air is going up while the fire has to go down. But we're looking at pictures now of Malibu. It is kind of remarkable. They've evacuated, or they're evacuating all of Malibu?
Let's start walking this way. Evacuating all of Malibu right now, the entire city. One of the reasons is because of the PCH. That's basically the road in. It gets to be a choke point, especially in emergency situations. So they have the fire that is headed towards that direction. It is making some really fast runs, but hopefully the thought is that if they can evacuate that early, it's going to take several hours to get all those thousands and thousands of people out of there. If they can evacuate early, they won't see some of those really dangerous situations where you have choke points and then you have fire taking those choke points, people stuck in their cars, unable to do anything really as the flames come over their cars. That's what we saw in Paradise yesterday, where some people were petrified while they were in their cars. They were stuck in gridlock. Some of them got out on foot, and they started trying to find any type of protection. They found firefighters that were able to protect them and find a shelter and lay down water around that shelter. But it's one of those situations where, when you're stuck in gridlock and there are flames all around, a lot of people just panic. They get out of their cars. And then later on, you've got fire personnel that have to get back through that same area. And they were yesterday using bulldozers to kind of clear those roads and make sure that personnel could get through there because people had just abandoned their cars.
Wait, they were using bulldozers to get parked cars out of the way?
Yeah, we're going to keep walking this way. Sorry, guys. We're just going to start falling back here. Yeah. So they were using bulldozers. Usually dozers come in and they cut lines. They were cutting lines through the roads. They were just basically plowing straight through to try to get the roads clear because people had abandoned their cars and they just left them. This is why we're trying to get out of here. So there's another plume coming up over here. I'm pretty confident that we're going to be fine. There's, we've been talking to fire officials out here. This is our trigger point. We're now hitting it. This is what it looks like when we start to fall back. So you've got that plume over there. We're going to
get in our cars. We're going to head downhill, and then we'll check back with you in just a bit.
All right, Gotti Schwartz, be safe. Make sure your crew is safe.
We have been prepared for about a day and a half. I got a call from a friend of mine who's a Ventura County firefighter, and he told me when it started in Bell Canyon. So we've been ready.
I was up here just an hour ago, and this was fine.
No, right. Tell my mom that.
It was fine. There was nothing burning. There was a fire.
Beautiful blue skies.
Exactly. There was nothing. We drove your entire neighborhood just to check and make sure you guys were okay.
Us too. And we've never been through this, not in 20 years.
It's the wind.
I don't know what it is.
It's the wind is the enemy of the firefighters.
Let me tell you, original owner in that house also, and it looks like it's been spared. I am so thankful.
You know, these fires just jump the homes, and we're starting to see your other neighbor's house. Oh, it's already caught on fire in the back. I can see that.
Which one? This one?
Yes, right here. The one that's a facade is still standing here in the front. If you're just tuning into Fox 11, we're on Kenrose Circle and Parkmore Road, the 5400 block. We're talking with, I'm sorry, what is your name?
Melanie Turquant.
Melanie has chosen to stay behind or to come back to try to protect her home. Her husband is actually up on the roof, as are many of Melanie's neighbors.
Look at the cross. You see the cross on the top of that house?
Yes, I do.
The best neighbors we've ever had. Very religious. I am sure they're watching over us, no doubt.
And now the sad news that they've lost their homes.
Oh my God, look at that. Yes. Oh.
And I see around the corner there on, what is this, Kenrose Circle, there's another home burning down the street.
That is the only one.
I'm going to ask Tony Butita, if you can hear me, I'm going to ask you to walk with me
Gigi, out
to
of
Kendall
curiosity,
Circle. Yes.
You walk through these neighborhoods, they look like just regular idyllic neighborhoods. Do these neighbors, they ever think that there could be a fire here? It's not as if they're butted up against the wilderness, or they're not butted up against that wildland interface or anything. They just seem like these master plan communities with regular vegetation around their homes. It's not. I would think that they would be fairly safe from these fires.
Now, this is a tight-knit community. There's a lot of cul-de-sacs in this small pocket of homes, or large pocket of homes. Our anchors are asking, did you ever, think that a fire could come through this area at all? Because you're not directly up against the hillside.
But my brother-in-law said, we always knew a fire could come through, but we thought it would come through and come around us. We never thought this would happen, because it hasn't. The houses have been here since 1960.
Never happened before.
Never. One house up at the very top, I think, was burned. But no, this has not happened.
Your block has been devastated with this loss. I'm so sorry, Melanie. I'm glad your house is okay, and we're going to keep a close eye on your husband up there on the roof.
Yes,
Be careful if this fire continues to move.
And again, we are so thankful for these firefighters coming in here and doing this for us.
They're heroes.
Absolutely. I agree.
They are absolute heroes. They're rushing. Something just exploded.
Okay,
something just exploded.
It was a tree.
Okay. This is what we actually heard this down on Moreau Road. We heard the explosions from your neighborhood.
Do you know if houses down there are burning?
The business center, there was a fire around it, but firefighters were able to save it. There's a fire at the Taco Bell too, but they were able to save that. Okay, Melanie, I know you're worried about your husband. Thank you for talking to us. Be safe. Okay, again, we're on Parkmore and Kenrose Circle. My photographer is showing you all these homes. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 6 homes going up in flames right now. The fire continues to spread as this wind just moves it. This is a devastating loss for this neighborhood here in Calabasas. Again, extremely tight-knit, friendly folks, working people. You heard Melanie, they've lived here, most of them for decades, many of them since this neighborhood was first built. We're seeing Los Angeles County Fire, Engine 5185 here on the scene, and my photographer is giving you a live look at everything that's happening. This is just an absolute loss. Another home just totally lost. And that's the latest from Calabasas. I see another neighbor over there. He's watering down his wooden fence. People doing what they can to protect their homes.
It really is a devastating sight. So this is the 5400 block of Parkmore in Calabasas, just paralleling Moreau Road, where both Susan and Gigi were minutes ago. And this neighborhood, since the 1960s, these homes have been there. They have never dealt with anything like this because, as you said, they're not butted up against any wildland directly in their backyards or in their front yards. So they have thought that they were safe. And then just within the hour, even they said that there was none of this around. Everything was completely fine.
Yeah, you see some of the fire there under the eaves. That's what they're. Go ahead, Gigi.
Right now you're watching live as firefighters try to make entry into the garage of the home at 5444 Parkmore, trying to get to the seat of the fire to stop it from spreading to the home next door. Meanwhile, firefighters are at the home down the street, just dousing it with water, surround and drown, as our Rick Dickard likes to say. So they're trying to get into that garage right now just to stop the fire. But it is raging. The streets, the visibility. I can't even see Melanie's husband anymore. He's still up on his roof. There's so many homeowners right now on their roofs trying to save their homes.
You don't get any closer to the front lines than you are right now in terms of when you have firefighters with literally axes and these tools to try and to stop the flames from spreading. I think what is most remarkable here, Gigi, is that you have been circulating about the area. You've been looking around. You were just here in the neighborhood and thought this area is safe. You don't have to worry about this area. And out of nowhere, you have these fires just exploding, these spot fires and embers catching all of these homes on fire. It is just how quickly all of these homes went up in flames. It is just quite remarkable.
It just shows you how a fire can quickly turn so dangerous, and how people think they're safe because there's just nothing happening in their area and they think it's all good. Maybe the fire has passed through this area, and in reality it hasn't. Not when you're dealing with the Santa Ana winds. We've seen explosive fire behavior, erratic wind. One fire official said, exceeded all of their forecasts of what they expected to happen. So yes, we were here, very familiar with this neighborhood. We came up to look at two homes that actually had a fire burning behind them. They suffered some pretty serious damage, not a complete loss. That was on Adamore, up the street. We were here earlier. We drove through the neighborhood just to make sure everything was okay, and it appeared to be okay. I was showing Tony Butita this neighborhood. I was telling him how I come here to walk and how lovely the people are and how nice everybody is and how they've lived here for so many years, and then this happens. It's just devastating to see. It would be devastating in any neighborhood. This is a working class neighborhood.
Another fire we're watching this morning in California, not just three fires, and not just one, rather, we're watching three. This is a real fire crisis that is producing more heartbreak for the community of Thousand Oaks. The scene just yesterday of what we were covering, the bar shooting, the mass shooting early yesterday. Now, wildfires racing through Thousand Oaks. This began yesterday afternoon, and they've destroyed homes and prompted mandatory evacuations in Thousand Oaks and in other parts of Ventura County on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Other wildfires have caused similar devastation in Northern Carolina. And we're taking a look at, this is the camera, this is a perspective. You can see the firefighters themselves as they try to get these under control. I think that's a reporter there. We won't listen into their live broadcast. Obviously, the morning shows in Los Angeles are following this so closely. But you see how they are trying to stop the advance of these flames, which have whipped up in just a matter of hours, have already destroyed and damaged literally thousands of structures. And John Northcott, let's look at these pictures together. What are you tracking most in California right now?
Yeah, as you say, Heather, it is the speed of this that has been incredible. In some cases, we're talking a matter of minutes before these become fully engulfed, and then people try to leave their homes. Yesterday, terrifying stories on the freeways of people trying to get out of these communities, and described it as a tunnel of fire and smoke along the freeways. We're talking people with trailers, people with children, people with pets, and then literally having to flee their vehicles. This as power lines explode and fall onto the freeway. The community that so many people are focusing on is Paradise. Now, that is in the Sacramento Valley, just northeast of the capital of California, Sacramento, and 27,000 people live there. Many of them evacuated, but we're talking about according to officials, thousands of structures. It is, of course, still dark there. We're still about an hour away from sunrise in California. So we'll get a full extent of the devastation then, potentially, though, because we understand these fires are moving towards other larger communities nearby. Those are communities that people have escaped from Paradise to get to. But the toll in terms of properties, we're talking about homes, supermarkets, businesses, restaurants, even retirement homes, those with mobility problems, very difficult to get them out. They have been moved. There are many others, though, elderly, disabled, people living in their own homes who've tried to contact relatives, and many of them, their fates at this point are unknown. Again, it is the speed of that, everyone caught off guard to the point where people are anxious to get away and in many cases leave everything behind and are still getting stuck, as they say, on the freeway trying to leave.
I mean, these are just harrowing first-person accounts that we're getting this morning, John. So leaving that fire, that's called the Camp Fire, which is really euphemistic if you ask me. And let's go to the Woolsey Fire, which is affecting Ventura County. And as I mentioned, Thousand Oaks. I mean, you cannot imagine the heartbreak already because of the shooting and now the fire at its doorstep.
Exactly. This is a community that not only affected by that tragic shooting yesterday, but a community around, this is Ventura County, Thousand Oaks. As you head north from Los Angeles, you'll go through Oxnard, and then you'll hit this area as well on your way to Santa Barbara. They have been hit. Again, the rapid progress of it, it jumped the 101 freeway. And as anyone is familiar with the drive up the California coast, the 101 is a huge freeway. It literally jumped that in a matter of seconds, growing at a pace of some 40 football fields every 30 seconds. Imagine trying to outrun that. Let's listen to a firefighter describe the situation.
This fire is wind-driven, erratic fire behavior. Our goal is to get people out in front of this fire. We're rescuing people out of their house. We're getting them moved away, and when we can engage and it's safe, we do. It's an emotional thing. It's you're asking people to leave their home. It's a mandatory evacuation. What that means is you don't have to leave. We want you to leave, but people know that they can't get back in once they do leave.
With thousands of acres ablaze, a whirlwind of fire was evident. The so-called firenado at the heart of the destruction. The most intense and lethal of the two California wildfires is burning 180 miles north of San Francisco, around the city of Paradise. For drivers trying to escape with their lives, it is a vision from hell. Some reduced to praying as they drive.
Heavenly Father, please help us.
5 people have been found dead in their cars.
Please help us to be safe.
This family emerging safely out of the inferno. From one home, dozens of rounds of ammunition could be heard igniting.
I saved their lives.
This man woke up his neighbors and told them to flee.
I don't think there's not going to be a home left in Paradise. I don't know.
500 miles to the south, close to Malibu, it is a similar vision. This entirely separate wildfire is also being driven by extremely high winds.
Oh, look at that.
Embers spreading the destruction across some of the most affluent communities in America. Dozens of homes have been lost, and thousands have been forced to flee. But here, at least so far, no lives have been lost.
What you take for granted every day, being able to come home and rest your head on a bed, it's gone.
Oh my God, look at that.
With a giant plume of smoke indicating the size of the blaze, firefighters are left trying to contain it from both the ground and from the air.
State of emergency has now been declared in California. It is unimaginable. They woke up to a massacre here Thursday morning, and on the same day, an out-of-control wildfire erupting. And tonight there are now several fires burning here in California. You can see this home right here behind me. It's been incinerated. They believe that burning embers actually landed on this home, and then it erupted into flames, burning down this home and then the home behind it. And it shows just how easily these fires are spreading across this state. The flames burning through neighborhoods here in Southern California throughout the night. It hasn't let up. The winds fanning the flames right along major highways. Today, racing down the mountains toward the coast, jumping the 101 here. And in the nearby city of Malibu tonight, they have now tweeted the fire is, quote, out of control. All residents evacuate now. And that's where we begin tonight with ABC's Clayton Sandell on the scene with that urgent effort now underway. They say the fire is now headed to populated areas.
Tonight, an urgent effort underway right now to get families out of harm's way across Southern California. Powerful, fast-moving, destructive wildfires burning a hole through LA and Ventura counties. In Malibu, firefighters in hand-to-hand, house-to-house combat. The Woolsey fire triggering mass evacuations. Traffic on the Pacific Coast Highway backed up for miles.
The traffic is getting heavier and heavier and slower and slower.
First responders racing to get families to safety.
Report of 3 people trapped in a house.
When you have 40, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing fire at your heels, the importance is to get people out of harm's way.
We met Ashley Snodgrass just seconds after she and her boyfriend escaped from their home near Malibu.
The fire people are there, but there's nothing that they can do.
And you think your house is on fire now?
Look at the flames and look at that smoke and how it's blowing. That shows you the strength of the winds.
The fire exploding overnight, now more than 35,000 acres.
You can see what happens when these wind gusts pick up. Just a little bit of smoldering debris suddenly sends up showers of embers, and those embers can go downwind and start new fires.
Flames jumping the 101 freeway before dawn, shutting it down. Tonight, dozens of homes are destroyed, and the fire shows no signs of slowing down as evacuation orders and anxiety keep spreading.
And David, this evening you can see lots of activity to try and save homes on this street, but 2 here have already been destroyed. And if you take a look over here, this home has been completely gutted by fire and is collapsed right in front of us here. The problem is so much wind, and that's going to last late into the night.
California continued to battle 2 major wildfires there. The Woolsey fire began Thursday afternoon south of Simi Valley. It has burned 35,000 acres in Ventura and Los Angeles counties and destroyed a significant number of structures. The fire has forced evacuations in the Malibu area from the hills to the Pacific Ocean. A stretch of U.S. Highway 101 from Agora Hills to Los Angeles remains closed because of those flames. At one point, the flames looked like a lava flowing uphill as they closed in on high-end homes in the Calabasas area.
Hi, here's my house.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Some homeowners were stunned at how quickly their properties were wiped out.
Memory's gone. I mean, it was all in perfect condition 2.5 hours ago when I was standing there.
The wind just started swirling like a tornado, and the whole sky was black, and all you saw were flames.
In Agora Hills, on the ash remains of Paramount Ranch, a historic Western filming location. It was used for a number of movies and TV shows, including Westworld and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Tens of thousands of residents ran for their lives, packing up whatever they could before fleeing their homes.
Oh my God, embers are going in the car. We have got to get out of here.
I hope Mom's gonna be all right. God, it's so hot.
Many barely escaped the flames.
Heavenly Father, please help us.
Traffic hit a standstill. Some were forced to abandon their cars and run. The fire burned through the town of Paradise in Northern California so quickly that crews stopped trying to control the blaze. Instead, they focused on getting people out alive, and by morning, most of the community lay in ruins.
A considerable portion of the town was destroyed.
Fire was all around me, and it was kind of frightening.
2 other fast-moving infernos are racing down the coast of California, whipped along by the Santa Ana winds. People in the path are being told to leave early.
We've professed and preached throughout the last few months, the past year, ready, set, go. Each of our communities should be ready to pack up and leave at a moment's notice.
Firefighters have been hard at work, but the destruction already seems inevitable.
We've been through earthquakes, we've been through fires out here, but nothing that's actually got into the houses. It's burnt the yards and the hillsides, but nothing that's actually got houses.
Officials are trying to use the lessons learned from last year's deadly wildfire season.
We put our best plan forward in a life preservation mode to get people out of harm's way.
But for now, California seems to be at the mercy of Mother Nature yet again.
In Paradise, California, a massive wildfire turning day to night.
There are embers blowing under my car.
This video taken by one of the many families surrounded by flames as they tried to escape.
We have got to get out of here.
All around, homes burning and cars trapped in blackout conditions.
Now we're only going, barely above zero.
These images in darkness, incredibly taken at around 9:30 in the morning. On the outskirts of the evacuation zone, an enormous smoke cloud spreads as this father waits for any word about his children.
I have a 2-year-old and a 1.5-year-old that I can't get home to.
Drivers stuck in gridlock as flames close in. The inferno exploding in size from 200 acres to 18,000 in a matter of hours. Its dramatic growth captured by satellite, threatening a community of 27,000. Schools with children in class waiting to be rescued.
Preschool has kids there.
The town hospital evacuated.
We've got 4 trapped in the basement. 4 people trapped in the basement. The hospital surrounded by fire.
Those 4 rescued by police as whole neighborhoods were set ablaze.
Babe, get out this lane!
As tens of thousands escape Paradise, being consumed by smoke and flames.
A night of utter hell.
Boom, boom, boom. You can see that all 3 houses are on fire.
Imagine looking out of your patio window and seeing this. Your next door neighbor's home consumed by fire.
There's no way at all to save this house. And at this point, firefighters aren't trying to do that. They're trying to keep this fire from spreading to homes around it.
But the flames are being fed by high winds and the fires are leaping from house to house. Thousands of residents fled in their cars.
It's insane. These trees are gone, the structure's gone. You can even see the outlines of cars behind me, or shells of what once were cars and trucks. And over to the right, I can hear the constant crackling of power lines.
Be careful with this fence.
Yeah, don't touch the fence.
They said there's a lot of live electrical lines through here.
The hotel where Deborah was staying was ordered evacuated. She managed a few hours sleep in a restaurant. Northern California is also being hit hard. One woman prayed as she fled in the family car.
Heavenly Father, please help us.
Seconds later, look, the smoke clears and the flames are gone. CBS News correspondent David Begnaud had a harrowing escape.
Ready? Yeah. 3, 2.
This town in Northern California has been virtually wiped out. The name of the town, Paradise. Now it's Paradise Lost.
Fire is ripping through Southern California, with high winds driving columns of flame and smoke from the mountains to the sea. Tens of thousands of homes are threatened. Many have already been destroyed.
My friend's house is totally burnt. I don't know about mine.
You're fearful that your house will burn?
Yes. Well, okay. Yeah. Very much.
Residents of the wealthy seaside enclave of Malibu are fleeing under a mandatory evacuation order. The fires sprang up Thursday night. The source is still not known, but intense wind gusts rapidly spread the blaze through bone-dry chaparral and brush into communities.
And I looked out the back and I said, I knocked on my roommate's door and I said, what do you think? And he said, let's get the hell out of here.
A huge tower of smoke rose thousands of meters into the sky, and the smoke made air quality hazardous for people with respiratory problems. California's acting governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency. And while authorities say most people heeded their warnings and evacuated when they were told to, we are also told by authorities that there have been some deaths. Firefighters are working desperately to keep up with the fast-moving, widespread blazes.
When you have 40, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing fire at your heels, the importance is to get people out of harm's way and get them to safety.
In Northern California, the town of Paradise turned to hell overnight. These incredible pictures show a tornado of fire raging there. The entire town is believed to have been destroyed. 27,000 people fled the area. 20-year-old Colton Persifield shot this cell phone video as he drove through hellish conditions outside Paradise. He somehow made it to safety. Severe fires have ravaged large areas of California since October of last year. Now, the state is once more witnessing nature's fury at its worst. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Westlake Village, California.
That's right. Good morning, Sandra. Standing in the rubble of what was somebody's home, a lifetime of somebody's memories, and hundreds of other homes have suffered a similar fate here in Paradise. We're about 2 hours north of Sacramento after the campfire just exploded here early yesterday morning, prompting a massive evacuation. People jumped in their cars and raced out with whatever they could. All the smoke and ash turning the morning skies dark, adding to the chaos. And when roads got congested, some people just abandoned their cars and ran from the flames. The local hospital is gone. 27,000 people were told to leave, and evacuation orders have now spread toward the city of Chico, a large college town where 90,000 people are on high alert. The campfire has grown to 70,000 acres, just 5% contained, but down south an even bigger disaster looms in Los Angeles and Ventura County. The Woolsey fire exploded overnight, jumping the 101 freeway that runs along the coast. That prompted an evacuation of the entire city of Malibu. 13,000 residents there being told there is an imminent threat and to get out now. And the Hill fire, more than 10,000 acres. And all of these fires have taken out scores of homes and buildings. Exact numbers aren't known because this all just happened within the last 24 hours. First responders now focused on saving lives and property. They'll get around to counting up losses and estimating the cause later. And while there have been several injuries, including to firefighters, thankfully there have been no confirmed reports of any fatalities. California has not had any significant rainfall now for many months. Dangerous fire conditions remain with strong gusty winds, low humidity, high temperatures, and now 3 major wildfires burning here in California, and a long road ahead for people who've already lost everything.
Mass
Sandra.
devastation they're describing. Claudia Cowan, thank you.
This is what remains after a wave of fire. A wood on the outskirts of Paradise, blackened by heat, is now grey with ash. This was filmed by a man who claimed he only just escaped, whilst his neighbours didn't.
Oh my God. I'm so lucky to be alive. I went down the canyon into a creek. It came over me and I thought I was going to die. I ain't lying. I'm incredible.
For the people of Paradise, there is almost nothing left. 90% of the city is gone. Local hospital staff saved patients and equipment when the order came to evacuate. Some, like nurse Nicole Jolly, nearly died doing so.
My car got completely engulfed in flames. The cab filled up with smoke, and my husband, I called him and I said, I think I'm going to die. I love you. Tell the kids I love them. And he told me, don't die, run. Get out of the car and run.
She did run and survived, but in the ruins, bodies have been found and it's feared there will be more. Across Malibu, many have lost so much. Dozens of homes have gone devoured by a fire that doesn't discriminate between trailer homes or mansions. Malibu is where much of Hollywood calls home. Lady Gaga told her Instagram followers that she'd been ordered to head to safety.
So I'm going up to a higher place to take a look out at the fire.
And Will Smith also used social media to show the view from his home.
If you are in the evacuation zone, go now.
What was unwelcome here was this tweet from the US president, putting the blame on California itself. There's no reason for these massive, deadly and costly forest fires in California, he wrote, except that forest management is so poor. He did later offer condolences and thanks to the firefighters, but it's years of drought, ferocious winds and rugged terrain that locals say make them vulnerable.
Fires do not respect politics, though, and so I would beg the president to pursue a major disaster declaration and not make this a political incident.
Firefighters have, without doubt, saved homes and lives, and for now they have the upper hand. But dry conditions and strong winds are forecast to return, and with them come a fresh warning.
This morning, the situation in California has gone from bad to worse. with red flag warnings issued on both ends of the state.
These winds will be as severe, if not more severe, than we saw in the last few days.
In Southern California, the Woolsey fire has claimed at least 2 lives. Thousands are still evacuated, with many coming to grips with their loss.
I've never seen anything like it.
Santos Flanagan says the ferocious flames prevented him from leaving. That's when he decided to fight the fire surrounding his community.
Fortunately, there were a handful of people that stayed in the neighborhood and helped to knock out the fires at the market.
Yep, the church got it too.
Meanwhile, up in Northern California, the so-called Camp Fire, already the most destructive in the state's history, taking another tragic turn.
14 additional bodies were located, which brings our total number to 23.
The small town of Paradise, located north of Sacramento, is nearly gone.
We're just in survival mode right now.
After losing everything, Emerald Mayfield is grateful for the support from strangers. We found her at the Red Cross Donation Center.
Thank you. You know, all kinds of stuff that you need when you're all of a sudden overnight don't have anything.
As she begins picking up the pieces, Shane Clark is holding on to the gift of life.
We had our 4 ultrasounds we've had so far, and they took them off the fridge.
He says firefighters saved the first photos of his unborn child.
It's a boy, yeah.
A glimmer of hope in the midst of disaster.
This is the Northern California town of Paradise, completely ravaged by a sudden, devastating wildfire.
We lost everything, trailers, all our belongings.
Fire officials say it began as a campfire that grew out of control and quickly burned several thousand structures in its path as it spread across Butte County, which is about 100 miles north of Sacramento. The fast-moving flames quickly forced officials to order the entire community of 27,000 people to evacuate yesterday.
Basically, the whole town's on fire right now.
The smoke turning early afternoon into what seemed like pitch-black night. Panicked residents fled by car, only to find themselves stuck in chaotic traffic jams.
There's stuff literally burning on all sides of us on the way out here.
Some abandoned their vehicles and ran for their lives as wind gusts up to 33 miles per hour fed the flames. But today, officials said they've already found bodies among the burned-out cars.
It looks like the fire came from the east and just came straight through town all the way to the west. Big box stores, McDonald's, Safeway, other subways, buildings, offices, all on Clark Road, completely engulfed or gone.
Southbound from Feather River Hospital on 10th is all blocked by fire.
Tamara Ferguson, a nurse at a nearby hospital, shared this video as the fire closed in, trapping staff and patients inside. In a Facebook post, she wrote her goodbye to her family and friends. Fortunately, local police were able to evacuate the hospital soon after, rescuing every patient and staffer, including Ferguson. So far, the fires burned more than 70,000 acres, and new evacuations were ordered today. State officials described catastrophic losses and said rescue efforts were ongoing.
The magnitude of the destruction that we are seeing is really, again, unbelievable, and fire weather conditions are extreme, and we are seeing it from literally border to border.
In Southern California, 60-mile-an-hour gusts from intense Santa Ana winds have fueled what began as 2 small brush fires into fast-moving flames that quickly scorched a combined 20,000 acres. The 2 blazes, the Woolsey and Hill fires, are continuing to tear through forests and communities about 40 miles northwest of Los Angeles. They've burned around 75 homes and forced residents to flee as the flames push toward the Pacific Ocean.
Just devastating. What you take for granted every day, being able to come home and rest your head on a bed, it's gone.
Just before dawn today, the Woolsey fire jumped a major artery here, Highway 101, forcing new evacuation orders for the entire beachside community of Malibu and its 13,000 residents.
We ask that our community members heed our direction and warning, leave early. Each of our communities should be ready to pack up and leave at a moment's notice.
Along the border of Ventura and Los Angeles counties, more than 75,000 homes are under evacuation orders. That includes the city of Thousand Oaks, still reeling from the mass shooting where 12 people were killed by a gunman at a local bar on Wednesday night. Today, fire crews tried to put out the flames in what remained of homes. Across the two counties, more than 3,000 firefighters are struggling to contain the fires in what's been described as horrific conditions of heavy winds and low humidity. Both are expected to last into next week.
Tonight, Santa Ana winds back with a vengeance, giving the Woolsey fire more strength, spreading flames across Southern California.
How crazy is that?
Luis Coran and Kirk Felgenhauer astonished by how fast it's happening.
The whole area would be on fire, like in minutes.
From the ocean to the valley, the fire continues its path of destruction.
It was a wall of flames that came through. I just ran in the house and watched from the windows.
Firefighters putting their own lives on the line, racing through the firestorm to protect homes. Attacks from the air and on the ground. Fatigued firefighters are working around the clock. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're tired, but this is what we do.
Engine 66 in Los Angeles mobilizing in minutes to knock down flare-ups before moving out.
We're trying to get control of them so they don't throw any embers and the fire spreads.
These spot fires are popping up all over, but it doesn't take long for these firefighters to arrive on the scene. The dynamic and dangerous situation changing lives overnight. Shane Clark lost his Bell Canyon home while hosing down his dad's place.
He saved my house.
But the family is alive.
It's a boy.
And Shane managed to keep the one thing that's giving them all hope: ultrasound pictures of his unborn son.
She's 5 months pregnant, and it's very nice to be able to still have.
Proof of life and hope during a very dark time.
The death toll in California's raging wildfires has jumped to at least 23 after the charred remains of over a dozen more people were discovered late Saturday. Officials say the bodies were recovered in and around Paradise, a mountain community 90 miles north of Sacramento. The victims were burned so badly, it's made identification difficult. The so-called Camp Fire has burned more than 6,700 homes and businesses in the area, more than any other California wildfire on record.
As of right now is at 105,000 acres, 20% contained. Cost to date is approximately $8,089,294.
The death toll, which could still rise, also makes it one of the deadliest. Police say several of the bodies discovered earlier this week were found in or near burnt-out cars.
You know, there's people running out of their cars, and fire is so close that I wasn't going to go to it. So I got out of there with my life, and I feel thankful. Mainly it's my kids. I lost everything, but things can be replaced, but kids can't.
An additional 35 people have been reported missing, and 3 firefighters have been hurt. Just 500 miles south, the Woolsey fire near Malibu has also continued to rage on, doubling in size overnight and threatening thousands of homes.
I'm surrounded by fire.
250,000 people are under mandatory evacuation orders, among them celebrities like Lady Gaga and Kim Kardashian. President Donald Trump weighed in on the emergency during his trip to France, saying early Saturday that gross mismanagement of forests was to blame.
The lethal Santa Ana winds are returning to Southern California. Firefighters working round the clock trying to dampen down smouldering land that's threatening to reignite. Thousands of acres of land have been burnt to a cinder, hundreds of homes and businesses destroyed, whole communities wrecked in the most lethal wildfire storm since records began. More than 8,000 firefighters are now deployed fighting 3 wildfires. Amongst them, engine company 279.
And they just really get going and it becomes a full-on fire again.
Anything that's smoking can get going again, yeah.
Wow.
We spent the day with them as they searched for potential flare-ups. Here, burning fractured gas mains, a problem they can't solve.
What can you do?
I was hoping I could see a valve, but it looks like that's destroyed, so it's just an open pipe. There's nothing we can do right now. Okay, well, we need some kind of specialist.
So you get the gas people to come and look at it for you?
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Yeah.
There's a mandatory evacuation order in Malibu, and most people have gone. Searching for the next potential fire is nerve-wracking stuff. This team has been here from the very start of the fastest-moving wildfire they have ever seen.
Houses are going
Trees
up,
are
everything.
Houses going up, big amber casts. And that's what's igniting the houses. Every time there's a gust of wind, the amber cast from whatever's burning is carrying that a mile down the road and igniting it ahead of quicker than we could get there.
And the winds were going fast as well, right?
Oh yeah, it was howling, yeah.
The scale of the damage, and to some of the most expensive properties in the world, will cost billions to sort out.
What really strikes you is the randomness of the firestorm. This house is in really good condition. In fact, it's barely been touched. We're in Malibu, one of the richest areas of this part of California. This is a beautiful house. You come up to the front door, though, you'll see that once you get past the metal, absolutely nothing is left. Completely and utterly destroyed, and this house was worth millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, kept on going. And it kept going across, down the hill.
Organic farmer Kerry Clasby tried to fight the flames from her roof. This picture was taken moments before she simply had to give up. She's lost her personal possessions, but her business remains.
And then the wind shifted, and it was like, I knew, I was right at that moment, we're done, we're toast. And I remember yelling, Caesar! And he came up, and we both looked at each other, and we knew we had to evacuate. And we didn't even have to evacuate, we just stood there and watched everything burn down.
The weather forecasts are not good. The winds are expected to blow for a few more days. The fight to control the fires will continue, but there's only so much they can actually do.
It's already America's deadliest wildfire in a century, and even as the National Guard continues to fight to bring it under control from the air, the story on the ground gets much worse.
Water's away. Yeah, good copy. Field return for 4 Papa Juliet.
As the fire rages on, the job of picking through what's left behind in the town of Paradise has grown in scale. Hundreds are listed as missing, and the likelihood is that they're a long way from knowing the true cost of this fire.
The chaos that we were dealing with was extraordinary, and so now we're trying to go back and make sure that we're accounting for all of the information. There is the possibility that there are duplicate entries, and by way of example, the detectives talked about the fact that you might have a person who called in to report, Mr. Smith, spelled, S-M-I-T-H, and someone else might say S-M-Y-T-H.
It's hard to believe anyone could have survived this. The hope is that some did escape, but have simply failed to make contact. Concerned family members have been asked to give DNA samples to help with identification. 90% of Paradise was lost to a fire that gave little warning, and there are growing questions about the city's evacuation plan. Donald Trump's Interior Secretary promised answers.
This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue, and we should address it as such. But it's going to take working together from the community all the way up to the federal government and making sure that we do active forest management, we prioritize infrastructure, public safety, roads, evacuation, and work together as a team.
Oh my God, guys, there's a fire!
This is what people are living with. Another evacuation from another fire here.
Where are the keys to the truck?
One brought quickly under control, but for those in its midst, terrifying, life-threatening, and far too familiar.
President Trump surveyed the destruction caused by the Camp Fire and pledged to help rebuild communities left in ruins in Northern California.
To see what's happened here, nobody would have ever thought this could have happened. So the federal government is behind you.
Emotions ran high as hundreds of displaced residents waited in long lines to meet with FEMA officials Saturday. The president's visit received mixed reviews.
He'll come in and try to take credit after he's insulted the firefighters, the police, the military, handicapped, women.
I'm happy he's coming, and I think it'll add some brightness to a lot of people.
The Butte County Sheriff estimates that the fire destroyed 9,000 homes.
I see devastation. It's gone. Oh my God. This is my childhood right here. I mean,
we were with Eric Smith when he went to check and see if the deadly fire spared his mother's house. Some of his relatives are among the more than 1,000 still missing.
You see the numbers of missing, and that's a lot of elderly people here.
Hundreds of people left homeless and living in tents in a Walmart parking lot are facing more misery. Heavy rains are expected next week, which could trigger flash floods and mudslides in areas scorched by the wildfires.